So when I'm producing, I believe that the process is a really important part of anything creative. Um, you know, a lot of my process starts with a feeling. I know a lot of people will try and start off with different things, try and go about production in different ways. But for me, I really trust my gut and my ear when it comes to feeling, whether that be something I hear, an energy that I get. It really all revolves around feeling. So when I start producing, it depends on the day, really, what I choose to start with. Some days I'll start with the drums. Some days I'll start with the sample. Some days I'll start with like a vocal chop. It doesn't matter to me as long as the feeling is present. I used to start out being like drums only first, and I'd, make an 8-bar drum loop, and then I'd add a sample to it. And then I was like, wait, no, let me try something else. So then I'd start with the sample first, and then I'd chop the sample. And it'd be like, no, like this is the only way. And then you add the drums in later. And I think that like everyone's really different in that aspect, where some people like to start with the sample, some people like to start with the drums. But throughout my production journey, I've really learned to just trust the feeling. So with this one, I specifically started with looking for a sample, finding something that I could just feel, and then, I'll add in drums after it. But the process really just revolves around getting what you need from what you choose, getting the best parts of it, and then just running with it. And then once you run with it, then you can come back and you add to it, you spice it up, you give it that flavor that it might be lacking in your original finding. So to me, the process in production is pretty simple. It's not complex. It really just depends on the day. Some days I'll find things that are really big on energy, really sad, really emotional, loud, quiet. I really don't personally have a specific style that I necessarily gravitate towards too. I've found that over time, when I am producing, I'll be super quick with it. I'll just go, like big energy, really fast. And I've learned over time that like sometimes slowing down is more profitable for an end product at the end of the day. And sometimes I'll rush too much, because I'm excited and I get this feeling and I run with it, and then I throw everything out the door. I forget all of these little things that really matter, and I'll sometimes rush into things when I'm producing. And so I've learned to kind of slow down and take it one step at a time. Once I find a sample I like, then I chop it. I try a couple different ways of chopping it. I'll chop it on beat, I'll do half beats, I'll do 16ths even sometimes. And I'll try all those things, and each one of those reaps a different result. But at the end of the day, the big thing is to try different processes and try different techniques. And then once you find something that really works for you, then you can kind of dial it back and not as much maybe rely on that specific technique, but you can build off of that technique. When I first got my drum machine, I was just doing 4 to the floor chops, like 1 chop, 2 chop, 3 chop, 4 chop, instead of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, like it really just first honestly depends on the sample or the drums that you're chopping, and 2, it really just revolves around that feeling. And so when I start, I find the sample, then I throw the drums in there, chop the drums in there, and then I like to add little embellishments, like the cherries on top, just the little sweet parts of what really brings the beat to life, but also keeps it from being monotonous. And I think that a lot of people will just go with one thing, and they'll have the sample and the drums, and that's it. And that, to me, leaves it a little bit like it's not like complex enough. And sometimes I'm guilty as charged. I'll add too much, and you're like, what's even going on this beat, or what's going on in this song? Like, there's too much happening. And so you really have to find that sweet spot and trust your gut, trust your ear, trust the feeling when you're producing, that like what's right is right. You can add as much as you want, but you can always take away, after you've added all of those things, and you can really weave the different elements you've added into the beat in nice ways. I've had some beats that I've made with like 20 different drum samples going on, and I've learned to like use those sparingly, but also use them at the right points to really bring the beat to life. And so as far as my process goes, it's just not complex. I don't like to make super complex, intuitive beats. Like, if I get a good feeling from it, if I feel good about it at the end, even if it is simple, like, I'm happy with that. As long as it brings me joy to do what I'm doing, and I don't, regret making it. That's a weird thing to say, but sometimes I'll be like, I don't like the way that this came out, or that. And it's like, if you can find a way that you feel good about it after you've stepped away, that's all that matters.